G'day you beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to take a look at my rework idea for Rampage. Before we get into the video, like usual, I'd just like to say that I look at a bunch of things when it comes to these videos. I go through their history and also look at community member suggestions. In some cases I'll agree with them and use them and give them credit for it. In other cases I may not use them or tweak them and provide feedback. As far as my videos go, I do try to be as inventive and out there as possible, but in a lot of instances like today, I will be keeping part of the heroes kits pretty much the way that they were. We are going to be giving every single hero a passive, and I also like the idea of quests, so I am going to suggest a quest for their passive and for their 3 base abilities, but not for their ultimate. Whether this becomes a case that every single hero has 4 quests every match they play, or whether Unleash decides to, give every hero 1 quest on a random ability, like I normally say with Sparrow getting a quest on a passive, or, someone like Rampage today getting a quest on his Boulder Throw. Personally, I would like to see all 4 quests be in the game, but when you start a match, you always get your passive quest, and you choose one of your 3 abilities to work towards a quest for. Gives you an extra way to tailor your build towards your playstyle, and to potentially counter the enemy team. However, as I said, I'm not opposed to everyone just having 4, or just having 1 random one. I'm also aware that some of my quest suggestions may not be possible due to tracking issues, but that's neither here nor there. With that said, let's get started. First off, we need to decide whether Rampage is a tank or a bruiser. I think that some people might make the argument for both sides, but with the existence of his ultimate, which I don't intend to change, I think he has to be a tank. So therefore, when it comes to his basic attack, giving him a power scaling around 0.5 makes sense, and considering that he's a melee character, the standard 20% cleave as well. Now when it comes to his passive, he already has one, so this is pretty easy. King of the Jungle. A passive health regen while Rampage is in the jungle. The active portion that gave him damage equal to 3% of his max health, which in my opinion was a stupid idea, has been removed. So the only potential for a quest reward for this passive seems to be a buff to the amount of health regen that he receives in the jungle. So I went with, after killing 60 jungle minions, health regen in the jungle is increased by 20%. I went with 60 because that seemed like around the amount of minions you would kill with 4 full jungle rotations, but perhaps that number might need to be higher. I am a little bit worried about this, especially considering that this kind of synergizes with his ultimate and makes his ultimate a little bit stronger. So we kind of have to wait and see. I think that would just be the case that, his ultimate might need a little bit of tweaking, or perhaps this idea is just dumb and there needs to be something besides the increase to the health regen. But anyway, that was my idea. Next up, we have his first standard ability, and I want to bring back Leap. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called, which I think should go to the right click R1 slot for ease of use. Now, there's not really anything to talk about here. It's a jump that can be reactivated to slam the ground. So you jump and you land, or you can jump and while in midair you use your basic attack and you slam the ground. Now unfortunately I couldn't find the original stats for Leap, so I kind of made them up. What you're seeing on the screen is me making them up, so they're not accurate. They're probably completely wrong, but let's just say that I want the ability to work exactly like it used to. So if anything that you see on the screen, which, let's be honest, everything is probably going to be wrong, I want them to be like what they used to be. I'm not saying that they should be either as weak as I've made them or as strong as I've made them. I want them to be exactly how they used to be. If you do know what the exact numbers for that ability were, please let me know in the comments. For the quest though, I went with, after damaging 20 enemies with Leap's ground pound, a second instance of damage will occur 1 second after the first. Horrible wording, I know, but it works much like Mirrodin in Heroes of the Storm, who by the way is basically Rampage. They both have health regen out of combat, They both have a ground pound, a leap, ultimate that increases their size and health. They're the same thing. So with leap, using your basic attack while in the air performs a ground pound. So after completing this quest where you leap and use your basic attack to pound on enemy heroes, there will basically be an aftershock a second later that deals damage again. Now next up we have Boulder Throw. I want to keep it working as it did. So it costs mana to pull it from the ground, you throw it and it stuns. You can cancel the boulder at any time to put it away, but if you pull out a boulder and don't throw it, you still lose the mana. That way the quest could be after landing 15 boulder throws on enemy heroes. Boulder Throw does not cost mana until it is thrown. Not sure at all if it's possible, but that way you would get rid of the annoying mana cost for picking up the boulder, but only if you complete the quest. So it ends up a better version of that ability simply by completing a quest. Now, next up is Rumble, which is going to have to move to the E key or circle button. I've also reduced the base slow on the ability as I want to increase it with the quest. My reasoning for this is because Leap is returning, so I as a base value, I'd like this slow to be lower because he does now have not a very big initiation jump, but he can also, close a little bit more ground with his leap. So I don't think it needs to be that strong. But so I've reduced it to 30% at level 4. But with the quest, after slowing 20 enemy heroes, movement speed debuff is increased by 40%. Now this actually takes it to 42%. Which is 2% higher than the 40% the ability used to be at level 4. But I think it's important to increase this by a percentage so that the debuff is actually affected regardless of what level it's at. By that I mean, say if you have something that slows at level 1 by 10%, 20% at level 2, 30% at level 3, and 40% at level 4, having a quest that states that completing the quest increases the slow to 50%, does that mean if I'm at level 1 I get 50% at level 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? I think it needs to be a percentage so that it's buffed at whatever level it's at. Finally, his ultimate, which is going to stay the same, basically. As far as buffing his other abilities go, that will stay exactly the same. Boulder will be much quicker to pick up. Leap goes much further. Rumble affects a larger area, but doesn't have a reduced cooldown like it used to do. Apart from that, his health regen is increased and works outside of the jungle. But I think that the amount needs to be looked at so that he's well balanced, especially considering my decision to go with increased health regen in the jungle on his passive. But if you look at it really, the passive quest is increasing his health regen in the jungle by 20%, so that will mean that when he's ulting in the jungle, his ult is going to be, as far as health regen goes, his ult is going to be 20% stronger, which I don't really think is that big of an issue. It's not... I don't think the majority of team fights happen in the jungle, so it's not really that big of an issue, I don't think. But that's my opinion. Let me know if you disagree. And that's about it for the big boy. No huge changes, doesn't really need them. So as per usual, I'd love to hear your opinions. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. If you have any comments, leave them down below. If you're not already subscribed, press the subscribe button. With that said, thanks so much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.